I'm a kid from a small town in East Tennessee, and when I decided to be in the music business when I was 19 or 20 years old, I want to go be in the music business. I'm going to go to MTSU and figure this out. I knew nothing. I just knew that I loved creatives and that I loved music and that I was in the choir in 6th grade. That's all I knew. My dad played music all the time in the house, right? And so I knew that I couldn't play, I couldn't sing, I can't dance, I can't do any of that stuff. But there was something about being able to help others achieve their dreams that became my dream.
Welcome to Well Coached, the podcast where we talk about how people, sales, profit, and self come together to grow a business that actually works. I'm Chris Weinberg. I've coached hundreds of entrepreneurs into their highest productivity zone by helping them get just corporate enough to lead with clarity, build with purpose, and scale with confidence. Let's dive in. Hey team, welcome back to the Well Coached podcast. We're in for a treat today. We've got Mr. Personality, Brandon Gill is here. Brandon he's over at Creative Nation, our beloved Creative Nation, best in the business, best in town, where he sits as the Senior VP of Management and Records and is the leader of the management team of Creative Nation, where he looks after some unbelievable talents. Cassie Ashton, Steve Moakler, Lori McKenna. Am I forgetting anybody?
That's the main.
Yeah, those are the horses. And man, if you know, you know. I mean, those are some unbelievable talents that he gets the privilege of shepherding their careers and has been doing it now 8 years there at Creative Nation. Yep. Yeah, 8 years at Creative Nation. And that's how long we've known each other. And I've watched him grow. I've watched him lead these people, and just a super good dude. And I'm so excited to have him here. We're going to unpack what it really takes to align teams. How do you sell belief? How do you protect long-term value? And then also lead artists through chaos. And so whether you're managing talent or building a company, this conversation reframes leadership and alignment in what Brandon calls the hubcap. And we're going to talk about that and what that means in a little bit. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Is that a pretty good intro?
That's great. You did good.
Awesome. So let's dive in a little bit and talk about the people section. We'll dive in there. Explain this hubcap model in detail. You talk about hubcap where the management and the artists are at the hubcap and ancillary services are spokes.
Yeah.
Walk us through that.
Yeah. So in the management world, I kind of the hubcap, right? It's like you and the artist are in this, you are the hubcap, right? And then you've got all the spokes that come off of that you are in charge of. You are the artist's voice. Right. Mm-hmm. So I'm the one that is, and our team is the ones that are talking to every one of those partners on the artist's team. So there's the record label, there's the publicist, there's the tour manager, there's the business manager, the lawyers, the creative people, the whoever, right? The people out on the team, the tour managers, the bands, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And so you have to make sure all of those people are in alignment. Because if they're not, and somebody gets veering off way over here, that's hurting where you're headed, where your ultimate goal goes, mm-hmm. right? And mm-hmm. so, a lot of times, the record label, they're not thinking about, well, what does our business manager think, right? What's their goal, right? Because the record label's goal and the business manager's goal is probably two different things, right? The band's goal is to have a great show. Well, the business manager's goal is to have the most amount of money in the bank account. Right. And so those things don't always align with each other. So it's our job to communicate to them why we need to do certain things and why we need to do them, and to make sure that everybody comes back into the fold and we all move in the same direction. Because you get that chink in the armor and now you've got an issue. Right. And so then we have to go deal with that issue. So we try to avoid them as much as we can.
So I would guess that choosing your partners very carefully is a big deal.
Absolutely. And what I love about what we do at Creative Nation is that we have, we are a record label too, right? But we don't have a record label staff. And so we like to hire out a la carte. What's right for Lori McKenna in the publicity world may not be what's right for Steve Moakler, mm-hmm. may not be right what's for Cassie Ashton. Same thing for creative, same thing for A&R, same thing for marketing. And so we're able to go out and find those specific partners that we want mm-hmm. to work on specific projects. Because even a Lori record 3 years ago is not going to be Lori's record next time. right? So those partners may even change there too, and very interchangeable. So it's a lot of communication. It's a lot of finding the right partners for the right project with the right artist.
And then setting that North Star. That's your responsibility with all those people, right?
Well, we spend a lot of time, there's a lot of things that go on day to day, right? Where you are worrying about what's happening today, what's happening tomorrow, but it's also our job to figure out what's happening 5 years from now. And okay, that's the North Star of like, how do we get to where we ultimately want to go? Like I'm concerned about maybe this show tonight, but I'm also very concerned about next year and 3 years after that and 5 years after that.
It's a healthy mix of tactical and strategy.
Yeah.
Tactical is how's the show tonight. Strategy is where we're going to be in 5 years.
Yeah.
And that's a good lesson for anybody running a business. And we've got this quote that we say around here is that managers must manage. I mean, to me, you're the most important part of the whole cycle.
Yeah.
No offense to anybody of those other spokes out there, but managers who are really on top of their game, you are the puppet master. I mean, you are. And that only comes through great deal of competence and a great deal of confidence and able to communicate it. So your communication skills mean everything.
They got to be through the roof. It's got to be, off the charts. You also have to have a lot of trust, I think, with those partners.
How do you build that?
A lot of it's time, experience, proving yourself with them. It's a combination of that.
Yeah, so time in the relationship certainly matters.
Yeah.
And then doing what you say you're going to do and all of those things.
Truly.
And then eventually, hopefully, good just attracts good, right? So
yeah.
I would guess that as you go on, you learn who not to partner up with pretty well.
Absolutely. And a lot of times you know it before you partner up.
Okay.
You do.
Yeah. When these spokes, like with the publicists or the artists or the agents or labels, when they're in disagreement, how do you realign? How do you get folks in alignment?
It's a lot of back and forth. It's because a lot of times the business manager may go, well, we don't have the funds, in their mind at least, we don't have the funds to do this, right? Like we need to go, we feel like we need to go do this tour, or we need to shoot this music video, or we need to grab this content, or whatever it might be. And so it's just because you've built that trust and you've got that time with these people and that experience that they trust what you're saying. And they are they're believing in you and they're believing in the artist. So if you've got people that are not champions on your team, like we work a lot with inside a record label where there's they've got 30 clients and there's hundreds of people working inside that business. Well, you don't need everybody to be your champion, but you need a handful of people that are in there screaming your name and busting down doors for you. Right. And if you don't have that, you're going to be in trouble. And so hopefully because of those relationships with the business manager and proving time and time again that, if we remember when we went and spent that money and then it did this, remember when we went and did this, it equaled that. I think it's just that trust and it's that
communication
together.
Yeah. And that communication is so big. I mean, as we all know, the world is full of lots of talented people, but if they don't have the right advocate for them who can communicate effectively and build relationships effectively, they're dead before they start.
Well, and then sometimes you have team members that you've worked with for a really long time, and I am I'm a high I, as you know. I love people to like me. I want to influence people.
Does it bother you that nobody does? I'm teasing. Disc profile, guys. Well, he's an off-the-chart high I, and people do love him. I just wanted to throw him off.
Yeah, it definitely threw me off. But, sometimes you have people that just, they fall out of line so far.
Yeah.
And so you've got to move on and go find a new champion, and that can be really tough.
They sure can, especially with us eyes. We want to like everybody, and we want everybody to like us, and we're not in the business of trying to burn down relationships.
No.
So sometimes we're too slow to do it. Sometimes we're too slow to do it.
Absolutely. I want to be collaborative. I want everybody to kind of have a voice. I want everybody to, for us to make a decision together. I don't love coming in and going, oh, we're going to do it this way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not my personality,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I can make you think I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
And every once in a while you have to do that. But my personality is, I want everybody to like me. I want everybody to work together. I want it to be collaborative. That's where the communication comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not coming in there and demanding this. But every once in a while, you have to make that tough decision. And that's what being a leader is.
That's right.
That's what's best for the artist.
Right.
You know, this is their one shot at it. This is their career, right? Like, you know, in the real world, yeah, this is my career and I love the artist. But I can also have multiple opportunities at artists, right? Multiple creatives in my life. They get one shot at it.
They get
right?
one shot.
So you've got to always, it's their North Star at all times, pointing them and helping them, guide them in the right direction and bringing the right people. You know, they're trusting you in that. You know, if they were that great at business, you know, they
wouldn't need us.
They wouldn't need us.
That's right.
And so they're creative. You want them to stick in that creative lane. You want them to know the business, and they need to know that. They're the president of their company. You know, they're the CEO. But at the same time, you've got to be able to guide them and show them the way on this business side. And sometimes that means letting people go. And
yeah,
you know, it's really tough for, especially my personality.
Well, we talk about managers and CEOs. Your primary the two pillars are increased shareholder value, the artist being the shareholder, and survival of the enterprise. So every day you've got to make sure your artists aren't going off a cliff, signing up with the wrong person, doing the wrong brand deal, while you're also trying to, how do I get them to be financially secure over a long period of time? I mean, that's a lot. It's a lot to manage. What are some misconceptions or big misunderstandings that artists may have about management?
I think one of the biggest ones, I think it's the same misconception they have with a record label. If I just get the best record label, if I just get the best manager, it's going to work for me. It's going to happen for me.
Kind of like autopilot.
It's just autopilot, right? Like, there's a lot of artists that get a record deal and they go, I've made it. Here we go.
Okay.
Right?
Celebrate too soon.
You're just now getting in the door.
Okay.
Like, the party hasn't even started, right? And so with a manager, you know, I think a lot of artists, look, it comes down to creativity, right? You can have the greatest marketing plan, but if you've got a crappy record, you know, or a record that nobody wants to listen to, I don't care how good your marketing plan is, you know, and then vice versa. If you've got a great record, had that before, great record, but a crappy marketing plan, it's not going to work.
Doesn't go anywhere.
Right. And so I think a lot of times the artists just believe that, well, because I've got the best, you know, or what's perceived to be the best manager, they can just make it happen. Right.
That's not where the work stops. That's where the work starts.
That's where it begins. Right. You're just now getting in the door. Now we got to put our head down and go.
How do you know when, as you get the artist under your belt and you're getting some traction with them, how do you know when an artist is emotionally ready for a gear shift, for the next level, whatever the next level might be? How do you know that, okay, they're getting it, it's time to push a different button?
Yeah, I think, first of all, there's a lot of times where, you know, there's some artists that just blow up immediately, right? And then there's artists that it takes time. You know, Chris Stapleton, for example, you know, he was in town for like 10 years or whatever, right? And then exploded in just that moment. But it was all that time that he spent, you know, and not using him as the example here, but like...
He's a pretty good one.
He's a good one. He's a good one. But a lot of times... the artists just aren't ready for that explosion, right? I think there's a lot of them, and I've worked with some, that if the explosion happened in the very beginning of them walking into town, getting a deal, whatever it may be, if it would have happened in that moment for them, they'd probably be back home working some regular desk job or something at this point. It would have crushed them, right? They weren't emotionally ready for that moment. They weren't... physically, emotionally, whatever it may be, ready for that time, you know, that season in their life. And then there's others that it crushes because it takes so long and they can't wait it out, right? And they think it has to happen so fast.
So you probably have some that like give up too soon kind of
thing. I think some do give up too soon, you know, or try to find somewhere else to go or try to change who they are drastically because they think, oh, I need to go chase this. I need to go do this. This is what's working. Well, then ultimately people can see through it when it's fake, when it's not real. And so then it doesn't work. That doesn't work either, right? But as far as like going to the next level, it's the trust and the communication between you and the artist, of just understanding where they are emotionally, where they are in their career, where they're at in their creative process. And as you know, our business is completely different than any other business in the world, right? Like, we go off guts and feelings and emotions, and I think this is really cool.
Yeah.
Right? We don't necessarily always look at red and black numbers, right? We should, but we don't, right? And so a lot of it, unfortunately, is gut, feeling, and emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you've been with someone long enough, you can understand maybe what that, when they say this one thing or they're feeling this certain way, what that actually means. Mm-hmm. And that trust in each other and that communication that you've had for all these years together tells you, okay, we need to push this a little more on this side. We need to raise this up, right? Mm-hmm. We need to maybe go in a different direction a little bit.
Mm. There's so much in there. You not only are you a manager of their career, you're also quasi therapist and earbender and soothsayer.
I have a degree in music business, but I should have a degree in psychology. Mm-hmm. Like that. I wish I would have taken more of those classes in college, because
you're dealing with ego and emotion, and people are you're dealing with such the work that the people you work with, they're so personally attached to what they're doing that's got to be tough sometime to go, no, that one's not great, or no, let's head in this direction. Or
well, that's what art is, right? Mm-hmm. Like, art is creativity. Mm-hmm. Art is emotions, it's feelings, it's your experiences in the your current experiences in the world. So it can be really challenging for an artist. I draw on the side, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I create things on the side, but I don't share that with the world because I'm scared to death to do it. Right. But they share it every single day.
Just putting themselves out there every day.
Content on TikTok or Instagram or social media, right? Or putting their music out there or stepping on a stage. Like, I will never be able to understand somebody that's able to step out onto a theater stage, a stadium stage, an arena stage, and do what they do, right? And so you have to have some of that ego in it and some of that right? Because without it, it doesn't work, right? So somebody has to help manage that too, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And in my opinion, like, I think a great manager, and where I try to stay is kind of in that even kill, right? Like, I'm just kind of trying to stay right here. I'll go up with them some, I'll come down with them some, I'll, raise up against the record label if we need to, or console in this with whoever on the band, right? But for the most part, I'm trying to stay right here, right? Because you do have, and everybody's got an ego, but you do have a lot of egos. You do have a lot of emotions in what we do. So you've got a lot of people doing a lot of this, right? Well, if you're also doing that with them and on this roller coaster going up and down, who's right here? Right? Who's keeping the train on the tracks and thinking like, okay, maybe we don't need to go scream at that person right now, right? Like, let's think a little more long-term than what's happening right now and what our emotions and our feelings are feeling right in this instant. Let's get a little bit bigger picture. Let's zoom out a little bit.
So you've really got the artist's emotions tethered to your hopeful sanity.
Yeah. And then you also got to be able to let that kind of drip off of you too at the same time. An artist, a band member, a tour manager, a whoever might come to you emotionally charged about something, but you have to be, it's like not taking your work home with you, right? Like, you have to take it in and you have to understand where they're coming from. And then you have to figure out the best way, sometimes right in that moment, other times maybe later, how to deal with that, how to fix that, how to, help them get through whatever moment they're in, no matter how big or small.
Right. Hey team, are you looking to elevate your professional and personal life in the heart of Nashville? Well, since 1957, the Nashville City Club has been the city's premier private membership club, offering an exceptional experience in fine dining, networking, and memorable events. As a member, you'll enjoy top-tier networking opportunities, business development events, mentoring programs, social mixers, and signature holiday celebrations. The club's private dining room serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner in a professional yet relaxed environment featuring menus crafted by Nashville's top culinary professionals. Members enjoy personalized concierge services, including bookings for concerts, events, sports, and dining reservations. Additionally, the club offers discounted private event spaces for personal and professional gatherings, accommodating over 200 guests at a time. We are located at 200 South 2nd Avenue. The Nashville City Club provides a versatile environment that serves as both a home away from home and an extension of your office. The warmth of the staff, the energy of the city, and the pride of the community are felt instantly upon arriving. Join us for this thriving community of Nashville's most respected and accomplished citizens. Apply for membership today and experience the unparalleled benefits the Nashville City Club has to offer. For more information or to start your application, visit nashvillecity.com or email info@nashvillecity.com. Let's pivot to sales a little bit.
Sure.
What are we trying to sell every day? You know, you got your artist. What does sales look like? Because it's your job to help get them in the lanes to get them out there.
Sure. Well, as Beth Laird, our beloved owner, she said that her mentor, Jody Williams, told her that art, music, and business were never meant to be together.
He was right. He was right.
That's not what it's like. Music, business, like those two things are not like, yeah, okay, this is the music business, but those two things don't go together, right? And so every day we're trying to sell art. We're trying to sell a human being, right? We're selling a product, but it's not Coca-Cola, right? It's not Lowe's. It's not, a magazine or whatever. We're selling a human being, right? And we're selling their emotions and feelings. We're selling their art.
What makes them marketable beyond just the music? What are things that artists need to have now other than just being a good singer?
Personality.
Okay.
You got to be an entertainer, right? Like, I don't care, like all the AI in the world, all of the social media in the world, if you can't get out on the stage, we will never, in my opinion, replace somebody on a stage and people buying tickets to come see that.
That's
right?
The real connection.
So if you can't, it's still a connection, right? If you can't connect in that way, and that's what we're doing on social media, is we're connecting with these people, right? But it's still that face-to-face, not necessarily one-on-one, but it's in those moments on that stage and in those arenas and those clubs that these people are having a connection with you and that you're having with them. So if you can't do that, and if you don't have the personality to be on social media to do it, it's really hard.
And I imagine you have some that are nervous about social media or don't have that natural skill set or have to maybe more afraid about doing social media than being on a stage.
And what's wild is like that is the case with whether it's a 40-year-old artist, 50-year-old artist, and there are 20-something-year-old artists that are also still scared of social media, or they don't want to do social media, which blows my mind. I've been in the business 20-something years. Like, I can understand why people older than me don't want to do it. It's really hard for me to understand, like, why somebody 20-something, like, why it's difficult for them. Because I'm like, man, you grew up in this world. Like, everybody around you's doing it. But it's just not for everybody. Yeah. But you can still see, like, okay, they've got personality. They've got the entertainment side taken care of. We love how they write songs. We love their voice. Like, we believe in all these other things. So maybe they're not great at social media. So let's find a way around that, right? We still got to do it. And we're still going to figure out how to be better at it. We're still going to get more comfortable with it. But maybe we don't take the same approach that we would take with somebody that's just loves it and has to be on it every single minute.
How do we keep up with I'm just going to rabbit hole down this social media thing for a second. How do we keep up with like what's hot, where to go? It's TikTok's the thing now, right? I mean, that's all about, how do we stay on top of where to go and measure our success? How do you measure success through social media? Is it just who's following me, or how do we, can we tie back any, is it possible at all to tie back, hey, that's working or that's not, you know?
Yeah. So a couple things there. One, our business, 10 years ago even, was if you were on the radio and you sold hard copy CDs and your Walmarts and your Targets and your record stores, that equaled X amount of tickets sold. Okay. So you knew 1 + 1 = 2, right? Mm-hmm. Nowadays with social media and streaming and hard tickets and all the other things that go into a career these days, 1 + 1 does not necessarily equal 2 anymore. It may equal 4,
Tell us about that.
Like you can look at somebody, we've got artists like it too, where it's like, okay, social media numbers are down, in comparison to maybe where they're at with other artists of their caliber, mm-hmm. right, of their level. But our streaming numbers are really great, right? But maybe we're having a little hard time selling tickets, right? But then you look at others and you're like, their streaming numbers aren't anywhere near ours, but their social media numbers are a little better, but they're selling a lot more tickets than us. Right? Or somebody might be just selling a lot of tickets, but neither one of the streaming or the social numbers are great. Right? So it's like it's really hard to figure out like, oh, we've got 50 million streams on this song.
But can't sell any tickets.
What does that actually mean?
Right.
Like I can't sell tickets. Like it's not, the fairs and festivals aren't coming to me with, good, guaranteed money, mm-hmm. Soft money. And so it's really hard to understand, well, if you do this really great and you do this really great, what does it actually mean? Or if you're not great here, but you're great here, what does that mean? Right? So it's just kind of jumbled it a lot. Mm-hmm. But again, like you had asked, like, how do you know what maybe the next trends are? What are the next things? What's working right now? That just goes to your people, right? Okay. We've had a couple of artists, Cassie, and we'll just use Cassie here. Like we have been down the road of social media of trying to find the right person for years and years, right? Where it maybe is working great at first with somebody, and then that just kind of, fades out for whatever reason, right? Those people did a great job for us, but eventually that faded. But now I feel like we have got the person, right? Like our numbers have grown drastically.
Awesome.
Just in the last 6 months, right? And it's just, for whatever reason, it's the combination between Cassie willing to do it and listen and taking the advice and collaborating, and this person being on the same wavelength and being able to speak Cassie's, language, mm-hmm. but also understanding what's going on in that world. And we need to, constantly hitting Cassie, we need to try this, we need to try this, we need to try this. Right. And so as soon as this works a couple of times where Amanda's told Cassie, like, this will work if you do it. This will work if you do it. Cassie tries it. It works. Well, all of a sudden now you got that trust. Right. So now Cassie's willing to do it even more next time, maybe faster, more of it, whatever it might be. Right. So again, it's just about finding those right people.
So right back to relationships.
Yeah. And it took time to find those people. I would have rather have found Amanda 5 years ago.
Right.
Right. But we didn't. So we take advantage of it now.
So interesting. These artists who have enough guts to go get on a stage, maybe, I don't know, I'm trying to make a correlation. Maybe they're secure enough in themselves to go get on that stage because they're in control of the art. As soon as they have to listen to somebody tell them how to do social media, that's a whole nother trust cycle to build. It's not their domain expertise.
It's not. And, we're asking artists to do things that they've never had to do in the history of music before by being on social media. They are having to sell themselves every single day on these platforms, mm-hmm. and multiple ways on each individual platform. What works on Facebook maybe not necessarily works on Instagram, doesn't work on TikTok. And so we're asking these human beings to turn a camera on every day and to film themselves doing whatever. Mm-hmm. I don't care who you are. That's hard.
For sure.
That is really hard. I can't do it. So how do I feel comfortable asking an artist? I'm like, no, you need to do this. And I'm like, I'm not willing to do it. I'm like, well, you get out on stage. Why can't you go do this?
Yeah.
So it's you got to have some empathy. But again, it's just finding the right people that can help communicate that message for you. That's what they're great at, right? They're great at social media. They're great at influencing that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to find the person that can help.
Trying to find the right spoke.
Yeah.
Right. Sounds like we did. Let's go to profit. How are artists making money today? What are their revenue streams? How are they making money? What's the fastest path to cash?
Live.
Okay.
Live entertainment. There is, I don't know the exact numbers or anything, but in my opinion, the amount of money that artists are making out on the road is through the roof. Right?
Good for them.
It is. But where I think we're having some issues is our gaps are getting bigger between, we've got the star artists making a ton of money and we've got the baby artists not making anything, right? They are struggling to get by. So it can deter a lot of them from wanting to get out there and keep pushing, keep going. But if you can get that rock rolling down that hill, man, it can come fast. Right, as far as making money.
Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of money to be made in merchandise too.
Okay.
That stuff you can produce for cheap, and
you can just about do it kind of on demand now, right? You don't have to have truckloads of inventory until you need it.
Exactly. You can test things a lot faster, right? Like you can put a hat on sale on social media or on your website or whatever, see how it does. And if it doesn't do well, we just don't take those out on the road, right? It's a lot of testing. This works well. Let's do more of this. This didn't work. Let's not, right? People are making good money, obviously, in the publishing world. If you're writing hit songs.
Yeah. For the listeners who don't know what publishing world means, tell us how we make money in the publishing world. How does an artist make money in the publishing world?
Well, Beth's going to get mad at me on this because I've worked, Beth and Luke are, it started as a publishing, Creative Nation started as a publishing company. And then they ventured, about the time I came on, they ventured into the management and the label side of things, right? And so that's where I came into the picture after being somewhere else for 12 years. And I still need Beth sometimes to teach me publishing 101.
That's
right.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I've been there 8 years and she's going to get mad at this. I'm speaking to the camera right here. She's going to get mad at me about publishing 101 and me not knowing. But the gist of it is like you're a songwriter, you're an artist songwriter. You go into a room every day, you're writing songs, right? And you hope that those songs get cut. Right. And so if they do, and they end up being singles or their album cuts or whatever it may be, they end up on on the streaming platforms, what we call DSPs. And they can make CDs, they can make vinyls, all those sort of things. So many sales, so many streams equals money to those songwriters.
And that can be evergreen, right?
Yeah,
that can
that's
be
that's
their evergreen cash.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the biggest songs, every song out there, the more it's played, the more it's streamed, no matter what age it is, it's still generating income.
Oh, I'm not going to be embarrassed to say this, but 2 years ago I was in Vegas and I went to see Barry Manilow.
Yeah.
And that's his whole life. He wrote the jingle, I am stuck on Band-Aids because Band-Aids stuck on me. He's like, that has been the gift. He said, I did that as a young teenager and it's still being used.
That's called mailbox money.
That's mailbox money, right? And he just started rattling off all these commercials.
That's the dream.
And that was this. He said, I never wanted to be an artist. I was writing jingles for commercials.
That's the dream.
And then one of them said, you should put out an album. And then it took off for him.
Yep.
But all these commercials that he's written, like A Good Neighbor, State Farm is there. That's him. So every time you hear that, he's just banking it.
And then every time he's singing that on stage, he's like in a way paying himself because you get paid performance royalties too.
Yes.
So anytime you see an artist performing on a stage, an arena, club, whatever it might be, there's royalties coming in for that too. So you got streaming royalties, you got sales royalties, you got performance royalties. We call those mechanicals over here, but like there's royalties coming in every single day.
Yeah.
And the bigger your song was in that hot moment, the more maybe it's getting played as a golden classic or whatever it may be. And those songs are still being played on radio where royalties are still being generated. Right.
Does it get easier for these artists as they get reps in? And what I mean by easier is, do they get around better opportunities just by being in the game longer, whether that's writers or brand deals or things like you mentioned that some folks get in it and it's hard, so they may give up too soon. Mm-hmm. Does it get any easier as time goes by, or is it just always freaking hard?
Grass is always greener, right? Mm-hmm. You create new problems, right? Okay. The baby artist, I want to be an arena touring artist. All my problems will go away. Well, I'm telling you right now, you've got new problems, and they're magnified 10x.
Mo money, mo problems.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I didn't know you could. I get it. We'll pour one out later. But it is. There's just more problems. There's more, things. You can just become more insulated, though.
Okay.
To where you've got more people now, so more people take care of those problems.
All right.
Right. But it's all costing you money. Mm-hmm. It's all gonna probably come around to you at some point. But hopefully, someone solved the problem.
Before it got too big.
Before it got too big, okay. Or before it got to you.
What's the biggest financial mistake that emerging artists make?
Biggest financial mistake? I'll say what I'll say about emerging artists. They or beginners or whatever it might be. I think they need all these team members immediately, like from the very get-go. Like, I've come to town, I got to get a manager, I got to get an agent, I got to get a lawyer, I got to get a business manager, I got to get all these people, right? Which costs money, by the way. Mm-hmm. What do you need an agent for? You're not doing shows, right? So what's the agent going to do for you? So all you're doing now is that you're going into an agency and they're just trying to grab you so you don't go somewhere else, right? So they're just going to stick you in the corner. They're just trying to
get you off the market.
Get you off the market. In case something happens, they've got you, right? Same thing for a manager. What's there to manage, right? And so you're going to end up with people that maybe aren't necessarily passionate about you either. They're not champions. They're just trying to grab you so nobody else can, right? So to me, that's a huge mistake, because now you've got these team members, but they're not your champions. Well, how's that going to work? Right? So you end up maybe not getting the guidance you should, people in it for the wrong reason. And so that's not good for your business. So to me, that's a huge financial issue.
There's so much to navigate. These young people come into town.
You don't know. You walk into town. I know when I'm a kid from a small town in East Tennessee, and when I decided to be in the music business when I was 19 or 20 years old, I want to go be in the music business. I'm going to go to MTSU and figure this out. I knew nothing. I just knew that I loved creatives and that I loved music and that I was in the choir in 6th grade. That's all I knew. My dad played music all the time in the house, right? And so I knew that I couldn't play, I couldn't sing, I can't dance, I can't do any of that stuff. But there's something about being able to help others achieve their dreams that became my dream, right?
Okay.
And so
that's kind of what I do.
Yeah.
I mean, very similar. I love supporting other people's dreams and how do we get there?
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Yeah. So I don't even know exactly where I was headed with that, but
we were just talking about mistakes financial mistakes emerging artists can make, and you're talking about coming and trying to build too fast or signing up with the wrong people too fast.
I didn't know anything about the music business, so I can imagine what artists that are coming here with their creative pieces that they've written or sang on or created, their art, how they feel and the pressure that they feel as they're trying to navigate this business. And I was just somebody just trying to be in the business. I wasn't trying to be an artist. So I can only imagine how they feel walking in,
How do you help them manage their creative risk or creative tendencies combined with commercial viability? Those can be the same or they can be very different.
Sure. It's tough, right? You got to try to find some kind of commerciality about what you're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it also depends on what success looks like for you. Some artists come in going, I want to be the biggest artist on the planet. Okay, well, guess what? We're going to have to go down the middle some. We're going to have to be commercial. We're going to have to...
There's going to be a truck, a dog, a dirt road, and
we
a girl.
got to do all the things,
yeah.
right? We got to follow the formula here. But if the artist comes in and goes, man, I want to kind of be this underground thing, and maybe that turns into something bigger, but I want to be Jason Isbell or whatever it may be, like in the beginning or whatever. Well, then that's a completely different approach, right? So it really just kind of comes down to the artist and what they are telling you, and then what their music sounds like. An artist turns in a record and there's not anything that's, a country single on it. Well, we got to go this route with it then. Going to a major label and going to radio and, trying to go down the middle and all that that's not going to work. Right. So you just have to kind of gauge where you're at in that moment with that artist, with that creation, with that art piece, and then make the decisions from there.
Is it hard to get them to change? Like if they're going down a route that is just not commercially viable, but you got to make some money. Is that a tough conversation, or do most of them hear it and go, okay? Or do most of them dug in on their, this is who I am?
Sure. I think some can hear it. It just depends on where you're at in the process, where they're at in the process.
How many times they've been punched in the mouth probably matters.
Right. Cassie, for instance, right? Like we have gone everything from she was, she's always this outside of the box. She is always going to be that. She is always going to be pushing the limits and the boundaries, and she's got the personality for it and the creativity for it and the attitude for it, right? And we found ourselves in the early stages of a major record deal trying to find that middle somewhere, right? And trying to appeal to a country radio commercial audience. And it just didn't work. And when we sat back and went, okay, that's not working, but is that who you really want to be? And we just kept having those conversations over, and some of those conversations take years to get to. You have to evolve. And so it's taken her this time to evolve and to figure out, what? I don't care. Like, she cares obviously about her career and whatever, but I want to be who I am. And I want people to buy into who I am. And if they do, and if they don't, whatever, but at least I know I did it my way. Right. And a lot of artists, it's really tough for them to do that. And they just want to go that straight and narrow, right down the middle. I want to have a really comfortable life. I want to, and that's fine too. Like that's what they want to do. And that's what their managers and their team want to do. That's great for them. Others want to push the boundaries some more.
So interesting. Hey team, are you looking to elevate your golf game year-round? Nashville City Golf, located within the Nashville City Club at 200 2nd Avenue South, offers a premier indoor golfing experience right in the heart of downtown. With over 350 real-world courses available on state-of-the-art TrackMan.io simulators, you can challenge yourself on some of the world's most renowned fairways without leaving the city. Whether you're a seasoned golfer or just starting out, our facility caters to all skill levels. Features of the club include TrackMan.io performance tracking, an adjustable swing stage, indoor putting, and great upscale lounge and food and beverage, as well as PGA instruction right on site. Nashville City Golf isn't just about swinging a club, it's about experiencing a revolution in golf practice and entertainment. Our cutting-edge features elevate your game and create an unforgettable experience. We offer flexible membership options to suit your needs, as well as booking for an individual sessions. Ready to tee off? Visit NashvilleCityGolf.com to learn more about memberships, book a session, or schedule a lesson with one of our PGA instructors. Elevate your game at Nashville City Golf, where the best of golf meets the best of Nashville. when you talk about being unflappable with these artists that you you manage crazy people, and I say that as a compliment.
Sure.
And you're being the unflappable guy. Do you think did you get that skill from your temperament, your high-I-ness, or training? Like, was that some conscious thing you said, I've got to be the rock in the storm, or do you think it's just a natural flex for you?
I think a lot of it's a natural flex. I think also like just growing up, I can recall, my parents got divorced, and like I had some, not necessarily chaos, but it was just I had a great childhood growing up, but it was just I have a lot of people in my family, me included, my sister, my aunt, my dad. Like I have a lot of people that have big personalities, have a lot to say. And so I kind of came from that world.
Okay.
But I had all that around me all the time. And so I think it kind of diluted my temperament, if that makes any sense, to where it was like, okay, maybe I won't be the loudest in the room all the time. I'll just be it when I need to be it or when I can be it. Right. And so I think just over time, like I learned and, who I was and what I was good at. And so, I've married an artist, right? She's a painter.
Right.
And so she teaches art, and she's got, art classes in our home, and she has a studio in the house. And, my uncle is a comic book artist, and I just always grew up like idolizing these creatives and being fascinated by creatives. And so at the same time, and I dated people that were highly creative, and I married a highly creative person. Mm-hmm. And so it's just like I've had this around me at all, like since birth, basically. And all I've ever wanted to do was help those people. Mm-hmm. But I've also learned from those people that they are emotionally charged and could be up and down every single day. 1 minute we're here and the next minute we're here, and that's within a 15-minute period. Well, it kind of, I was clued in on like, well, somebody's still got to be right here. Mm-hmm. Because if they're not, then it's just a bunch of, you're going to have an explosion. Mm-hmm. Right. And that's not good for anybody's career. Yeah. And so it's a little bit of, well, I grew up this way.
Okay. So it's
and
natural.
Then some of
it
is a learned behavior too. Yeah.
What's the hardest conversation you've had to initiate as a manager?
Hardest conversation, letting go an artist. I think that is because of my personality. Yeah. Really tough.
Yeah.
I have let go of a couple of artists that I felt, I was sweating going into the meeting. I was dreading it for weeks. I still feel bad
even
about
having
it
to dread it for weeks is awful. Yeah. Having that long of a timeline to think about it is awful.
Because I was trying to find in my brain, well, maybe that's not the right decision, right? I've also got it in my head of like, well, I'll let go of them and then something's going to happen.
Yes.
Like they're going to explode.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? So there's a little bit of like fear in there too, right? But it's like, well, I want these people to like me. I want to do good by these artists. That's why I'm in this business. I want to help them get to the next level. I want to help them sustain, whatever it might be. And sometimes you just, for whatever reason, you may not be the right fit. Yeah. You've lost the passion. They've lost trust, whatever it might be. It's just time to move on. Mm-hmm. That's in any business, right? Mm-hmm. It's just, it takes longer with me to do that. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to dread it. I'm going to fear it. I'm going to loathe in it, whatever it might be.
It's the high I. It's the high I switch. We want everything to work. Disc Profile team. We want everything to work. So we believe in people. We believe in things. We think everything's going to work out. That's beautiful, by the way.
Yeah.
But sometimes the other side of that is we will hold on to things longer than we should.
Yeah. I believe I can make it work.
Yeah.
I believe I can make anything happen, right? I will sell that to the team. I'll sell that to myself. I'll sell that to the artist, whatever. And then sometimes you just have to sit back and look at reality.
Yeah.
It just takes me longer and other eyes to get to that reality.
Yeah.
Which I think probably makes it harder in the end, but.
Well, it also means you don't give up on things too soon.
Sure.
So
it also means that I hang on too long.
Both sides. Both things are true, right? Both things are true. Let's do some rapid fire. One trait every successful artist must have.
Passion.
Passion. Good one. I
Yeah.
was wondering how you're going to answer that, because when I wrote that question, I was thinking, I don't know how I'd answer that, but that's good. What's one red flag that you watch out for?
Parents involved.
Wow. Momagers.
Uh-huh. Moms and dads.
Moms and dads.
Had it before. Not great.
It's just terrible, isn't it?
It's
Especially if that said artist starts getting any kind of traction whatsoever,
Mhm.
because now they're completely out of their depth
Uh-huh.
and don't have any clue.
Yeah. Like my dad, my parents, my relatives they don't know what I really do. I've been doing this 20 something years. I went to school for 4 years with it. They don't really know, which is fine.
Yeah.
Right. I know that mom that has a 17-year-old kid or a 20-something-year-old kid definitely doesn't know.
Right.
And they get in the way. I don't care.
When you're in conflict with someone where a family member is attached, it's virtually impossible to win because blood is thicker than water.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult.
Yep.
Very, very, very difficult.
It's also can be very difficult, not a mom and dad, but a husband or wife or a partner that might also be in the music business.
Oh, God.
Because now there's pillow talk. Well, I'm not there for the pillow talk, right? So they could talk themselves in or out of something that you've already decided on together. And so by the next morning, it could be a different thing, right? We could have a different answer. And so now you got to work twice as hard to bring that back around, or sometimes you just give up on it, whatever it might be, you know, depending on the situation.
And even that family advice, it's intended to be good advice.
Absolutely.
It's
There's
not
no
misintended.
No. Rarely is it misintended, but because of the inexperience or not understanding the conversation or the goal or the big picture, it can get diluted. It can change it. It can cause more harm.
We talked a little bit about artists not having to come and get a 10-person team on day one, but where are their investments that they should be making early? Where should they have these limited resources? What are some of the first things a young artist on the move should be trying to get around them?
I think the first thing you need to find is your crew.
Okay.
And what I mean by crew is people of your age doing the same thing, right? I can't tell you how many times, I know this happens in the writing world, it happens in the artist world too, that a couple of there's 4, 5, 10 people, that are new to the town. They're young. They love to go out. They're doing all the same things. They got the same goals, right? They're writers in town, and they form this bond. And so they're sharing things with each other. It's all fresh. It's new. They're not jaded yet. Like it's just this experience that they're having together, which I think is a really cool experience for somebody to have when they move to town. You find your friends, right? Well, one friend gets in a room with somebody. Well, that friend, as writers do and artists do, they start telling others about you. They start pulling you into the room, whatever it might be. And so right there, you immediately have a network of people that are talking about you, rooting for you, encouraging you. They're for the good, they're for the bad, right? So I think it's find your people first.
Build your community.
Right? Build your community. Then you can slowly begin to build, whether it's your publisher, your manager, your whatever, depending on what you want to do in the business. Find your people first.
What's going on big for you this year at Creative Nation? What do we have to look forward to?
We're shifting gears a little bit, where in the past, Creative Nation has, we're small, we're independent, kind of feels like, I think you've said maybe on one of these before, like a coffee shop. When you come into Creative Nation, people are just hanging out, you know, and having coffee and talking about music and lives and kids and whatever else. We've been, and we are, a really tight-knit group, right? We don't let just anybody in.
Right.
You're disc profiled. You got to go through certain songwriters.
It's hard to make the team.
It's hard to make the team over here. And we also want to have a slot for everybody. right? Like as far as we don't have anybody in the same slot taking the same
They're not competing
rights.
against each other.
They're not competing against each other, right? Which I find really
you
special.
You can really sense that inside that building.
Yeah.
People are. I have limited access to those artists, but when I am around them, you can tell they're happy. They're not worried about is the person down the hall trying to take me out.
Yep.
So
and that goes for the writers and the artists in our building. It also goes for our employees, right? There's nobody competing against me.
Right.
There's nobody competing against Alex or Jane or Cole or, and what they do inside our building, right? So it allows for a lot of collaboration, right? But what we are doing is we're, for the longest time, and what the basic Creative Nation was, is like, you're a publishing client. So you do that, right? But if you want to do artist development or if you want to do artist things, you can come over to our building and we'll help you do that. No matter what level you're at, we're going to help you do what you want to do, whatever's best for you, right? We can be artist development, we can be management, we can be the record, we can be all, record label, we can be all those things, or it could be just one of them. Whatever you need, we'll do, right? But it started with being a publishing client. Now we've got the resources, we've got the ability, we've got the people to be able to spread out a little more to where, okay, maybe you don't need to be a publishing client. You don't have to be a publishing client, right? Like we can just come in and be management. We can just become artist development. We can just be label, whatever it might be. We can be any combination of those things. So for us, it's about on our side of Creative Nation, kind of spreading our wings a little more and trying to find some of that other that maybe not necessarily is a publishing client. If they are, that's great, but it's not a prerequisite anymore.
It's a benefit, not a requirement.
Yeah.
And letting the management side be the lead dog.
Yeah.
Personally, you keep yourself sane by coaching baseball.
I do. My wife and I, we don't have kids.
Well, you got a bunch of them.
Yeah. Well, I say it a lot, like, and it is in a joking matter. Like my artists are my children in a way, right? Because I care about them and I think about them all the time. Right. I just don't have to like have them in my home.
Yeah. You don't have to drop them off at
school.
I don't
got to take them to school or soccer practice. Right. But you have a
tremendous, as a father, and I know you don't have kids of your own, but I will tell you that youth sport coaches help shape young men and women as much as anything else.
I believe that too. Like I got into coaching baseball a couple of years ago. I'd been running away from the idea for about a decade. I'm also not sure I had the capacity for it a decade ago, but a few years ago, I dove headfirst into it. I'm on the board of our club. I am coaching baseball. I'm coaching all-stars. I'm coaching in the spring. I'm coaching in the fall. We're going and hitting, not on practice days, but on other days. Yeah. Like I'm taking us indoors to practice, like paying for it out of pocket, whatever. I don't care. Like I'm passionate about baseball. I remember when I was that age, from the age of 6 to 12, were the best years of my life playing baseball. Right. I played past that and into high school, whatever. But like there was something about those 6 years where it was me and a lot of the same kids playing together. They were my buddies. We didn't even go to school together, but we showed up on that baseball field and we played baseball together. There was something about that camaraderie and that friendship and my dad coaching and like I had the same coaches and there was just something about all of it that just helped shape my life. And I can still look back on today and go, that was an awesome time. And so I'm trying to create that same thing for kids.
Yeah,
right?
Well, that's wonderful. And what a great outlet for you to take your mind off of a stressful environment.
Yeah. The last thing I'm thinking about when I'm on the baseball field with 4, 5, and 6-year-olds is, this tour or this problem or whatever else.
Right. Well, that's good. Well, I'm proud of you. You've done an amazing job. Brandon has, if you're in the music space, you know who he is, and he's got an amazing reputation around town for just being a good dude. He's a good dude. He looks after his clients, and he's got zero ego about him, and that is the people that get to work with him are very lucky for that. So I appreciate you coming here today.
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah. Well,
this is fun.
Good. Well, hey, team, if you liked it, go tell everybody, and subscribe on YouTube or Spotify or wherever you get your podcast. If you didn't like it, and I know a lot of people, he rubs the wrong way, don't tell anybody. I'm teasing. Don't tell anybody. And until we'll see you next time. Until next time, stay well coached. That's it for today. Thanks for being here. I hope something in this conversation sparked a new idea or gave you a little clarity. We'll be back next week to keep digging into what it means to lead well, grow smart, and build something that lasts. Until then, stay well coached.